Good morning. My name is Sam. I am an alcoholic, and I'm also a son of recovery. Let's start out with the Serenity Prayer. Good and gracious God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. So I'm reading through this book called Recovery Dharma, which is how to use the Buddhist practices and principles to heal the suffering of addiction. We're still in the beginning of the book, so just bear with me. A lot of the terms like Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, even the word Dharma or Sangha, those are all going to be described better as we continue reading. So just bear with me. So, where to begin? So, how can we use Buddhism for our recovery? There are three ways in which we focus our energy, not step by step, but in a holistic way as our insight and our awareness grows. We come to understand the Four Noble Truths and use them as a guide for our own path of recovery. This program doesn't ask us to believe in anything other than our own potential to wake up. Just allowing ourselves to believe that it's possible, or even that it might be possible. We begin to believe that our own efforts will make a difference. This is the realization that there is a way to recover, and then the decision to start the process. As we learn about the Four Noble Truths, including the Eightfold Path that leads to the end of suffering caused by addiction, we put these principles into practice in our lives. This book includes an introduction to these truths, and there are many ways to continue studying them. The Eightfold Path is a guide to a non-harming way of being in the world. It is not just a philosophy, but a plan of action that is very similar to the 12 steps. It is a plan of action. That is very true. Meditation is an essential part of the program. This book has some basic instructions so you can start right away. Most of us have found it very helpful to attend meetings that include an opportunity to practice meditation with others. A key to this program is establishing a regular meditation practice in and outside of meetings. This will help us begin the process of investigating our own minds, our reactivity, and our behavior. We look deeply at the nature and causes of our suffering so we can find a path to freedom that's based on authentic self-knowledge. Meditation and prayer. The following chapters talk about these three aspects of the program, the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, as a way of developing the wisdom, ethical conduct, and spiritual practice that we have found leads to recovery. We hope that people and groups will use this book in ways that are useful for their own processes of recovery. We offer some suggestions in that spirit. You're invited to take what works for you and leave the rest. Again, very similar to AA in that they claim they're not the only source of recovery, but they are a good source that has worked for many people, and they say that. At the end of each section are a series of questions to explore. These inquiries can be used as a part of a formal process of self-investigation with a mentor, wise friend, or group, as tools to explore a specific life situation, as guides for a daily self-inquiry practice, or as meeting discussion topics. A wise friend or mentor can be a great help in deepening your understanding, and we encourage you to reach out to people you encounter at meetings. Very similar to having sponsors. Supportive friends are an integral part of the practice. Again, very similar to AA. These questions may bring up shame, guilt, or sadness, or for some, they may potentially activate trauma. It can be very beneficial to get support set up ahead of time, such as taking the questions only one at a time, timing the work so you can have a chance to engage in self-care afterwards, and so forth. The intent of the questions is to deepen our practice so we can experience relief sooner, not to bring us more suffering. I really love how this says it can be very beneficial to get supports set up ahead of time, such as taking the questions only one at a time, timing the work so you can have a chance to engage in self-care afterwards, and so forth. I love that. The thing about self-care afterwards is very important. And we need to remember that when working on the steps too, that working on them straight through can be great, but making sure that we check in with those who we're working with in doing the steps, but also for ourselves, that if we need to take a break for a second, we need to say that, and that's okay. And, that's just mental health. That's just self-care. So that's good. Continuing. Our path is not a checklist, but is rather a practice in which we choose where and how to invest our energy in a way that is both wise and compassionate towards ourselves and others. We do not complete our journey based on how much we meditate, or how many meetings we go to, or how many written inventories we've completed. The practice of the Eightfold Path helps us to develop insight and self-compassion as we begin to look into the causes and conditions that led to our own suffering with addiction. The tools will come to bear the signs of wear and markings of our using them. So, again, just like with the steps, as we continue to work them, and I know I've seen this in others, we see how they've worn the tools, how they have used them, and how they continue to use them, and it's just become easier. It's like it's with a good pencil or pen that you love so much that you use it all the time. That's a really bad example, but I think you know what I mean. This path doesn't have an end. Your life, like all of ours, will probably continue to present you with challenges. As we say in AA, just because we got sober doesn't mean everything's perfect. What the path does offer, however, is a way out of the suffering that our habitual reactions to challenges often bring, and an end to the illusion of escape we try to find in substances or behaviors. It's a way to break our own chains with our own hands. It's a path of freedom. So this section is called The Practice, and it's describing a few things. So I'm going to read that too. The Practice. Renunciation. We understand addiction to describe the overwhelming craving and compulsive use of substances or behaviors in order to escape present-time reality, either by clinging to pleasure or running from pain. We commit to the intention of abstinence from alcohol and other addictive substances. For those of us recovering from process addictions, particularly those for which substance abstinence is not possible, we also identify and commit to wise boundaries around our harmful behaviors, preferably with the help of a mentor or therapeutic professional. The term meditation. We commit to the intention of developing a daily meditation practice. We use meditation as a tool to investigate our actions, intentions, and reactivity. Meditation is a personal practice, and we commit to finding a balanced effort toward this and other healthy practices that are appropriate to our own journey on the path. Again, as I've mentioned, we've talked about this with our own meditation and prayer practices that we use in AA. Meetings. The term meetings. We attend recovery meetings wherever possible, in person or online. Some may wish to be part of other recovery fellowships and Buddhist communities. In early recovery, it is recommended to attend a recovery meeting as often as possible. For many, that may mean every day. We also commit to becoming an active part of the community, offering our own experiences and services wherever possible. I know that when you're going into meetings, it is often said 90 meetings in 90 days to try and get that. Just that is establishing a good habit and really getting you in the door. And we also know that if we are not active parts of our community, that we suffer from not being involved. And being involved helps keep us alive. And being involved helps keep us with our community. So now the term, the path. We commit to deepening our understanding of the Four Noble Truths and to practicing the Eightfold Path in our daily lives. As I've said, those are going to come very quickly in the next readings. We will understand those better. So the terms inquiry and investigation. We explore the Four Noble Truths as they relate to our addictive behavior through writing and sharing in-depth, detailed inquiries. Those can be worked with the guidance of a mentor, in partnership with a trusted friend, or with a group. As we complete our written inquiries, we undertake to hold ourselves accountable and take direct responsibility for our actions, which includes making amends for the harm we have caused in our past. That all sounds a lot like steps 4, 8, and 9 to me. So, Sangha, wise friend, and mentors, the next terms. We cultivate relationships within a recovery community to both support our own recovery and support the recovery of others. After we have completed significant work on our inquiries, established a meditation practice, and achieved renunciation from our addictive behaviors, we can then become mentors to help others in our path to liberation from addiction. Anyone with any period of time of renunciation and practice can be of service to others in their Sangha. When mentors are not available, a group of wise friends can act as partners in self-inquiry and support each other's practices. That sounds to me a lot like having a sponsor. And doing 12-step work, getting out there and helping other people with their addictions. And the last term is growth. We continue our study of these Buddhist practices through reading, listening to Dharma talks, visiting and becoming members of recovery and spiritual sanghas, and attending meditation or Dharma retreat when we believe these practices will contribute to our understanding and wisdom. We undertake a lifelong journey of growth and awakening. Again, seems a lot like AA. And I really love that this is saying becoming members of recovery and spiritual sanghas. They don't care. They're saying use this in your other recovery work. And that's what I'm doing. I'm using this with my other recovery work because I believe that this really does open up other doors for me to get in touch with my higher power, which is Jesus Christ. But however you talk to your higher power or whatever your higher power is, there are ways of always finding new ways of getting in touch with them and spending time with them, which is wonderful. So next, we're going to actually go on to the book. So I just finished all the preface areas. So now we're going to go on to awakening, and it's going to be Buddha, and we're going to talk about the Four Noble Truths and other things. So it's going to be good. So we'll go on to awakening tomorrow. I will. So let's read this prayer. Praised be you, my Lord. Praised be you, my Lord, through our sister Mother Earth, who sustains us, governs us, and who produces varied fruits with colored flowers. Praised be you, my Lord, through Brother Wind, and through the air, cloudy and serene, and every kind of weather. Praised be you, my Lord, through Sister Moon and the stars in the heaven. You form them clear and precious and beautiful. Praised be you, my Lord, through Brother Fire, through whom you light the night. Praised be you, my Lord, with all your creatures, especially Sir Brother Sun, who is the day and through whom you give us light. And he is beautiful and radiant with great splendors and bears likeness to you, Most High One. So with that, I leave you today, but if you have any comments, questions, or thoughts, please leave them. And as always, I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you.